Hey guys, it's Sam reporting for the second week of Sam's Investigative Scoops. This week I found two great stories for you. One about a nonprofit organization working out of unmarked buildings in rural Michigan, collecting millions of dollars, but who they're helping might come as a surprise. And the other one is the FBI breaking the law. So let's start with that one. The FBI is kind of this organization that a lot of us picture as, top tier law enforcement. They're investigating a lot of federal crimes, and so murder, terrorism, things like that, they're involved with it. But in this piece, it's a 20-minute documentary out of Gray Investigates TV, which is the kind of company that WMBF is owned by. So they were looking at specifically hate crimes. So hate crimes is a crime that happens when a victim is singled out because of a group that they belong to. And by a group, I mean something like their religion, their sexuality, gender, things like that. So these can be murders, they can be vandalism, things like that, when the defendant kind of says, I committed this crime because of hating, transgenders or because of hating Muslims, things like that. That would be defined as a hate crime. And in recent years, we've heard a lot about, these crimes going up. One of the prime examples is in 2017 during the rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, when a woman unfortunately got ran over by a car. And so these are things that are happening, and Congress actually mandates the FBI to report these statistics. But Investigates TV analyzed 10 years of data and discovered that there are 65 cases that the FBI investigated of hate crimes, but those did not translate over to their numbers. They're just not reporting it according to this report, and they didn't end up in the database. So that's only Congress mandates that at the federal level. So when it comes to local agencies like your law enforcement in your county or your cities, they're actually not required to report this at all. And so 2,000 agencies across the country just didn't. And so when we're talking about either undercounting or not reporting at all, this is a problem because then we can't really get a realistic picture of what the problem is. And so that means proper resources can't really be allocated to certain things. And this is a problem that I found when I looked into rape kits in South Carolina. There's no way for us to measure that at all, and so we don't really know what the problem is. So this is the same thing for hate crime that's going on across the country. And actually, when it comes to the state level, South Carolina, where I am right now, is one of only 4 states, I believe, that has no hate crime laws at the state level, which means sentences can be reduced or different because we don't have a law to specifically prosecute that. But back to the investigation that, again, so they were pestering the FBI for 7 months trying to get answers on why this was a problem. And they actually interviewed a former employee who admits that this is an issue. And so now, a happy ending to the story is the FBI does plan to submit hate crime data in 2021. And so that kind of is one way that digging into the data and really pressing people can actually have an answer. So I just thought that was super interesting. Again, it's a 20-minute documentary that I will link to the bottom. And it kind of shows, how we need to hold people accountable and how, not reporting things isn't just a logistical thing. It can actually have true impact. Our second story that I was talking about, that nonprofit organization operating in rural Michigan. I'm gonna try to pronounce the name, but hopefully not butcher it. It's called Opius Bono Sacerdoti, I believe. And so what that actually means is, looking this up, it means work for the good of priesthood. So it's this organization that in its essence aims to provide resources to accused priests. So you've probably seen in the media, seen a lot in the last, I would say it's been more than just a few years, where Catholic priests are coming under fire and they're being accused of, sexually assaulting or just assaulting people in who they, as children kind of looked up to them and things like that. So that's been in the media for a while. And this organization has been around, I believe, since 2002 or the early 2000s, earlier than 2002. And they've raised more than $8 million from 2002 to 2016 and helped over 8,000 accused priests. So when we talk about helping priests, it's providing legal assistance. The article talked about visiting them in jail, providing them shelter, food, things like that. And it was just such an interesting concept that this even exists. This is an article based out of the Associated Press, which covers, the entire country and nation. I'm trying to see of what else kind of to highlight here. And so it was really formed in this mission to combat this negative image, I guess they were thinking, that the media was creating about, the Catholic Church and about priests in general. So it was offering all this charity to them. But the story isn't just that they were offering help to accused priests. It was also that recently the Michigan State Attorney General found that this nonprofit, they raised that $8 million, but they weren't actually using the funds as they should. So the state kind of announced that fundraising solicitations have been deceptive and that the two founders violated state charity laws by using donated funds to cover personal expenses. So we're talking about sushi lunches, chiropractor visits, power tools to work on their homes. And so the founders got removed. The article later says that they started a similar charity in Indiana, and this charity is still going on, helping accused priests and bringing light to that with there. So these are two interesting topics. They're issues that I don't think we get covered in local media, so I think it's very interesting and important for them to cover in this investigative sense. Hopefully it taught you something new, shed your light. Hopefully it sparked you want to watch the full versions that I'll post below. But thanks for staying tuned if you've listened this far to the second week of Sam's Investigative